This is the review of the G&G SOC16 version 4 AEG. I bought this gun off of Airsoft GI for about $255. It didn't come with the battery charger or any BBs or anything. This is everything I did come with. Now this is inside of the box, as you can see. There's the gun itself. It came with a metal high cap which holds about 470 rounds, a loading rod down there, and the manual. Alright. Now pulling the gun out of the box, you can feel that it's extremely solid. This gun is full metal, so everything that's on the real M14 that's metal is metal on here. That includes the receiver. It's pretty much this whole entire upper part. You know, the receiver, the bolt, the sight, the rear sight, the front sight, the outer barrel, which is under this plastic piece right here, and the trigger guard, and mag release. The only plastic parts on this gun include the lower stock portion right here and this top portion right here. But that is the same on the real M14, I believe, or at least quite similar. The only complaint I do have about the external build of this gun is this top piece right here. It's plastic, but it's just extremely flimsy plastic. It's thin, and it can crack real easily. So that's something you might want to watch out for. You can see that. Let's see how flimsy that is. So that's something you might want to watch out for. But anything else on this gun is super high quality. There's a flash hider up here. It's not removable. You can't remove the flash hider. There's no thread on there, so there's not a big chance that silencer is going to be able to go on here. And you can see it has this huge horrid orange tip. Behind the flash hider is the front sight. That's the front sight. There's not much to it. I don't think you can adjust it or anything. So it's just there. It is metal. And coming back here, you have the flimsy plastic part. And on top of it, you have your 20mm rail. You can mount any sort of optics, such as red dot sights, scopes, or maybe even a flashlight. Right below the rail, you have these textured grips right here. That helps your hand hold on a bit better. Alright, now moving back here, you have your bolt right here. On top of it is you have these nicely laser engraved letters, and it says SOC16. You can pull it back, and under it, you can see right there, that black dial right there, that's the hop-up adjustment dial. And so there's the bolt. You would rotate it further away from the bolt to increase hop-up, and you would rotate it towards the bolt to decrease hop-up. So there it is. Now another cool feature about this bolt is you can actually pull it back and lock it back, like that. And there's the bolt release, which you push down and the bolts lock back in position. Now to release the bolt, you just kind of push up on that. Now I don't recommend you doing that too much. Once or twice shouldn't be too big of a problem, but it's just a cool feature. So don't play with it too much or you can damage some parts of the gun. Okay, directly below the bolt you have your mag well and mag release. Here's the mag. It comes with a high cap mag. It holds about 470 rounds, I believe, but I think you can cram in probably up to about 500 rounds in there. And the way you would insert the mag in here is just like an AK. You would need to insert it in the front first, and then you would just push up until the front can't go up anymore, and you just tilt the back inwards like that, and you can see the front goes in a little bit more, and then it locks in place like that. So to release it, you just grab it with your fingers and then push the mag release with your thumb, and it comes out. Now coming back here, you have the trigger guard, trigger and safety, and that's all metal, as I said. Unlike MP5s and that stuff, most other guns with selector switches, the safety, the semi-auto, and the full auto all controlled just by one switch. But on the M14 and SOC16s and that stuff, the safety is actually down here, and it's an individual switch, and the selector switch is right there, and that controls only the semi-auto and the full auto. In the backward position, it's on safety, and then if you want to put it to firing mode, you would just push it forward, and you can pull the trigger, just like that. Now the way the selector switch works is you would push it in and then you can rotate it like that and it clicks in place. Right here on the selector switch, you can see it's blank. Alright, that means it's on semi-auto. You'll see the other side it says A, and that means it's on full auto. Make sure the pistons are all the way in the forward position before you store your gun. Most AEGs you have to fire a couple shots in semi-auto, but AEGs like this, there's like a little lever or a button that you push to release the spring tension. Now here, without pushing in, you just kind of give a little backward pull like that. Notice how this whole unit up here moves. And you would hear this "zhoo" sound, and then that means the piston's released to the forward position. Now directly above the selector switch you have your rear sight. Alright, there it is. Right there. It's just a peak hole. And you can adjust it for elevation and windage. This is the windage adjustment right here. You turn that to adjust windage, and you turn this knob to adjust elevation. Now inside this grip is the motor, and following this grip you come to the stock right here. It's a very solid stock, and inside the stock is where you would place the battery. And right here's the butt plate. Alright, to open up the stock, all you have to do is just lift up this plate right here. Nothing's locking onto it, all you have to do is just kind of lift it up like that. And that exposes another door underneath right here, and that just opens, just push down, that opens up like that. As you can see inside, there's a battery compartment. It's a really big battery compartment. You can fit like 8.4s, 9.6s, whatever you want in there. It's a huge battery compartment. I use an 8.4, and it can easily go in there and probably still have about another inch of space up here for you to stuff the wires. Now that's a good thing because it makes battery installation really easy, but it's just there's a bit too much room in there. So what happens is when you're running around, the battery wobbles a bit in there, and that's another thing you might want to watch out for. That problem can be easily solved by placing maybe a cloth in there or a cotton or whatever you want to limit the movement of the battery a bit more. So there's your battery compartment. Alright, that just closes. Alright, so that's pretty much the gun. As far as internals, the reliability of this gun, now this is version 4, and the reliability of it has greatly increased from the previous versions. It has higher quality internals. I had it about maybe 3 months, 2.5, 3 months or so, and no problems for me so far.